We got Mike and Sean with Talking Tickets, and we have a ticket stub dealer that will be set up at the National, Mark Townsend. All right, Mark, good to see you again. Long time no talk.
Long time no talk. Nice to see you guys. Everybody's looking good.
Yep. Good to see you, Mark.
Well, we got
Thanks
Mark
for joining
on.
us.
Yeah, Mark is the man when it comes to the setting up at the National. How many years have you been a dealer at the National?
This will be the 7th National I've been in. I had to count myself. I think the first one I did was Baltimore, which I think was 12.
Wow.
So those, and this since then, it's all been tickets for the most part.
I was going to say, so you've probably seen in the past 7 years, how have you seen it grow from your year one setting up to today?
Well, volume a lot more, of course. Pricing a lot more, of course. But it's always been fun. It's always a challenge to get ready for the National. The first one being in Baltimore, close to my home, was easy for me. Didn't have to do a lot of traveling, but Chicago is always a nice place to go to, so I'm looking forward to it.
So, Mark, do you fly everything out there, or do you drive?
I tune up my van and load it all in and haul it all out.
Drive all the way. How long of a drive is that?
From here to Chicago is 11 hours.
Wow. Okay.
Dang, setting up shop. Yeah. Tell people the itinerary of, okay, if I want to be a dealer, what's the process?
Well, first you have to get a spot, which right now is tough to do because they're constantly being sold out. But once you get everything lined up and you get your hotels lined, for me now it's an 11-hour drive to Chicago. And since I'm moving in early on Tuesday, and I have a granddaughter's birthday party on Sunday, I'm driving straight through on Monday. And more than likely, I'll hit Chicago about 5 o'clock. And if you know anything about Chicago, at 5 o'clock, that's not a good time to hit the city when you're tired. But we'll get there, get the hotel, check in Tuesday morning on an early move-in date, set up, be ready for Wednesday morning to go in, finalize everything. And then by that point, you'll see some of the dealers walking around looking for the deals or things they might want to look for because they have a chance. And make some sales, maybe even Tuesday night, but Wednesday morning, I expect to make a few sales and we'll go from there.
How is the days basically compare? How is Wednesday compared to Saturday? How about Sunday? What's a good time? If somebody's to come in, what's the best day to come in?
Best days, of course, Wednesday and Thursday are the days where you do a lot of high-end sales. So people that come in looking for certain things. By the time Saturday rolls around, there's a lot of people looking. But the money, it's like a lot of shows, the money's really not being spent as much. Then Sunday, you get the last minute buyer that's gone around the show a couple of times and says, okay, go back to this one dealer and see if I can talk him down for something. So and last year at the National in Atlantic City, unfortunately, we had to bail on Sunday because we both caught COVID. So it was, we lost that day, but we had a good show. It was for tickets. It was a good show.
What kind of sales volume ballpark would you expect for a table like yourself?
Well, it's a toughie. I mean, to break even, just your expenses from the hotel and to do the National itself, you probably got to do about $3,500 just to walk away without losing anything, minus what you sold. If you do over 10, you're making a profit. And the last few shows we've done, well over that, and enough to where it's much different than it was in 2012. Much different.
So, Mark, do you think that trend is going to continue?
I hope. Everybody talks about the bubble in the market for tickets, and we had a bubble. We had a bubble that definitely in the high end stuff. We all saw it.
Yeah.
I don't think we saw it so much on the medium to low end stuff. And I'm seeing right now that a lot of that low end stuff is still, medium low end stuff is slowly climbing. And it'll be interesting to see. I think, isn't there a Jackie debut ticket being sold by Heritage coming
Yeah,
up?
yeah, and it's going to be there on display.
It'll be interesting to see what that goes for.
Yeah, I think it'll also be interesting to see what kind of interest there is as it's on display at the National, because it is a pretty, in the ticket collecting world, obviously it's the Mona Lisa, but even to the average collector, I think that it'll be quite appealing, and maybe that'll drive some interest in ticket collecting in general.
We're seeing where a lot of events more than debuts are starting to gain momentum. I guess is the right word to say. It's just really what it is. It's about the history of the game.
What's your guys' prediction on this final sale? What would you think, Mark?
I got to put my glasses on to see what that thing says. So hang on a second.
It's a PSA 3. It's the highest graded.
Well, then, I could see it hitting the. I get over 2 would be nice. I could see it going for 4.
Yeah.
I really could. I think the high end dollar people, knowing that's the highest that's out there. Yeah, I can see it. It might go for, who knows? What do you think, Sean? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that it really depends on the. It really only takes 2 people with really deep pockets because the last one was bought by I think the owner of the Brewers, right?
Yeah.
And obviously if you have that kind of money, it only takes 2, Major League Baseball team owners to really want that to drive it up into the stratosphere. So it's impossible to predict. But it is the highest grade of the most important ticket. So if you're interested, but the problem is that it appeals to an audience that's well beyond just ticket collectors. There's really important tickets out there that all 3 of us would love to have, but an outsider probably wouldn't care about it. But this is something that anybody who is a sports memorabilia collector would love to have. So it's a big audience.
I agree. I think it could break a record. It could.
Yeah.
Mark, are you bringing any heavy hitters to the show?
I'm leaving the dog at home, but I'm bringing a few things that got some value to them. Some things that probably have not brought to the shows before. I guess I'll start with this one. It's a common ticket in a sense. It's the 58 championship ticket.
Mm-hmm.
It's a PSA 7. It is the highest graded one out there. There are 2 7s and a 6. And then the rest of them drop way down in grade wise. I sold the 6 a little while back to somebody we all know. I've got the other 7, so I'm willing to part with this one. Those 3 tickets all were in the same sequence. They all sat next to each other.
Mm.
And I bought them all at different times, which was really, and I bought them all ungraded. So it was really kind of odd when I had the first 7 and then I bought two other ones. And I said, well, the seats are all come together, and then gave them to PSA, and I was just like, all right.
Do you,
why was
do you price your tickets when you display them, or is it all in your head, or when people look up, do they say, oh, this is the price? How do you usually do that?
When they come to see my display cases, there'll be prices on the tickets, and they'll see the price at that. There was a time way back in the day when I did a lot of cards, and there was so much competition in the cards that you'd put the price on the back of the ticket because you didn't want other vendors to see what you were selling your stuff for. Right. With tickets, it's nobody have this one. I mean, it's the highest of the highest. So
yeah,
I got people look at it and they go from there.
Yeah.
What other?
So another one I'm going to have. This is we're going to start low, go big. I picked up a few of these. These are Jackie Robinson's 2 home run games. PSA 4s. very sweet tickets. And actually, I gave one to Beckett. And my mistake was I had him just authenticate it, not put a grade on it. The numbers are all sequential. So it probably would have graded, well, maybe a 4. I don't know how Beckett grades, I'm not sure. So I'll have a few of those for sale for any Jackie fans. Probably going to have maybe 12, 15 Jackie Robinson tickets. His last game ticket I'll have there. His 15th, 100th hit ticket I'll have there. And some odds and ends.
What usually does best? Vintage, more modern, sport wise? What have you seen over the years?
Well, I deal a lot. I'm not chasing right now like the new stuff that's out there. You chase something. It's like chasing baseball cards. You chase a rookie card. You think he's going to be real hot, and then next thing you know, something happens and it's not so hot. So I kind of like the history of the past. If something jumps at me new, I might go after it. I like Kershaw's stuff, so I play with some of his stuff. But yeah. So let me tell you some other things I'm bringing. This is something that I've never brought before. Get the thing right. This is Shoeless Joe Jackson. This is his 20th home run ticket of his career. It's a PSA 10. It's the highest graded Shoeless Joe Jackson that I know of that's out there.
Wow.
I think there is one other. I think home run number 1 was sold last year at Heritage. It was a PSA 6, I think, maybe, or 7. But this ticket, it came out of the coupon book. And I would say probably a third of the book maybe was found and broken apart. And I bought a few of them and sent them to PSA. Actually, the 10 I might have sent that to PSA as well. I love them, but it's time for this to see the world, I guess, and being in Chicago.
Wow. That's a ticket that is over 100 years old, and you sent it in and it got a 10.
Got a 10. Right?
That's insane.
Can't be many of those out there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Out of this book, there were probably, out of maybe the 30 or 40 PSA graded, there were probably 2 or 3 10s out of that book. So somebody found the book and just took them out of the book.
Yeah.
Which has happened with a few series in that era per se.
Right. Yeah. Mark, if you were the one to find the book, would you remove them? Or would you keep the book intact? That's
a toughie. I've got the book for the 1912 Pirates that you see out there. And at the time I bought it, it had tickets in it, but the tickets were loose.
Yeah.
But there are still a couple of rain check tickets in it. And I sent a few to PSA, and I got one that came back a 9 for big pitcher back in that era. It wasn't Johnson, but it was Mathewson. The Mathewson ticket. You just don't see those, So I'm sitting on that for the moment, but certain things I like to keep.
Yeah.
Until I don't.
What time do you plan on seeing Lenny?
Well, Lenny is, he's the man when it comes to tickets. I'm not going to argue that point. I'll probably see him Wednesday morning.
So you're going to let him take all the deals, all the good stuff.
Lenny, he likes to go through the raw stuff. He's looking for stuff that he doesn't have, and sometimes he finds a lot, and sometimes he doesn't. And he looks at the graded stuff, but he's looking for himself and things I think he can turn around.
Mm-hmm.
For those that don't know, Lenny is the famous ticket buyer and seller who shows up super early for the National, and we can't get him on the show, but maybe one day. But he's famous.
We will someday.
Tickets. I bought a lot from him. I mean, he had in inventory. He still does, I'm sure.
What's his
Yeah.
eBay handle?
Buckner.
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 Yeah, just Buckner. So yeah, if you've seen Buckner on eBay, that's
And
the famous Lenny.
if you see something you like, don't hesitate to buy it because the guy is A1 plus. That's
So,
sure.
Mark, do you know about how many tickets you'll be bringing overall?
I'll have
Like slabbed, I mean.
8 cases of slab tickets that will be in the
Wow.
plus additionals, and then those cases like the World Series tickets, there'll be 2 cases of World Series, and like let's say like 1970 World Series tickets, they'll be stacked. And so if I have more than one of that year, they'll be stacked. So there's a lot of tickets I can lay into 2 cases.
How does that compare to years past? Is it similar in terms of volume that you bring?
Not kind of the same. Maybe a 10 more in the graded stuff. I'm going to say probably in the raw stuff, maybe a little less because I find myself looking a little more for the high end things that I do low end. And plus, these days, trying to buy things that are raw, you just don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
I picked up a Kershaw ticket the other day. There's a story to be held, but I won't tell it. But anyhow, it was advertised as mint. And I finally got it. And it looked mint on the front. On the back, there's a big old black magic markers across the whole back of the ticket.
Was this a debut?
No, it was just a win ticket.
Just a win, yeah.
A win ticket. And, what do you do with that? It's like, I didn't pay a lot for it, but
it was mint except for that just little black mark on it.
Except for that big old black.
Hey, we got a question. We have actually a question from another big Kershaw fan.
Yes.
What cocktail are you having tonight, Mark?
Well, now, good question.
What good question.
It's late on the East Coast.
We got to get a solo.
Have a Townsend margarita, freshly squeezed. I'm going to move the camera a little bit. With a lemon inside, with a little Grand Marnier on top. Contro, white tequila. Let me tell you something. I can't do much of this right now. It will knock you on your backside.
Yeah, you don't just half-ass a margarita. You guys go full on.
This drink where if we have friends over, sometimes people have to spend the night.
Yeah, that's the way to go. That's the safe way.
So I'll show you another ticket we've got coming. This is a young kid back in '86, played for Toronto. He got his first hit, and there's a few of them out there, but there's none that are PSA 10s. McGriff, I get centered there a little bit.
That's a cool. That ticket's really, really nice.
It's very crisp looking ticket.
Yeah, it's like
I can't believe that's a 10. That is amazing.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, I know somebody who likes first hit tickets too.
Yeah, I actually have that one. Mine's probably a 4 or 3 or something because
Let your glasses and look at this thing and look for faults because I have.
Well, that will be for sale.
Everything I'm showing will be for sale. If I bring it, it's for sale. I've learned that lesson. Don't bring something you're not going to sell it.
Why do you? I know, other than the obvious, why do you say that?
Because sometimes you sell something, you bring something with no intent on selling it, and next thing you know, it's gone, and you tell yourself, "Why did I bring that?" So
yeah,
you have to be really cautious with what you bring, and you got to try to price it with what you think is within the realm of selling it. I don't like to just bring things that's for show and tell because why transport it?
Do you bring anything that is, I'm not going to sell it, but I would trade it?
No. Now, okay. I bring things that I'll trade if the trade market is right for it, but everything is in the cases are there to be looked at and either bought or talked about.
So how many items would you say are in your PC, your personal collection?
A lot.
Okay.
That you would never trade or sell.
Well, right now, yes, there's a lot that I wouldn't trade or sell, but tomorrow's a different day. So I don't know. I mean, we're not getting any younger.
So just what's the breakdown on baseball versus football versus other sports that you have in the inventory?
Very heavy in the baseball.
Mhm.
Very in the older baseball. I have some older football, very little basketball, and some miscellaneous things. I should have brought that upstairs in my raw. I got 2 cases upstairs of raw tickets that are being organized by Linda, my wife, because she's going to be in charge of the raw cases. So I let her look at things and get familiar with everything is. But there's one ticket there. It was for a car show, 1954. It might have been in Vegas, but on the back of the ticket they talk about camel racing, and it was the only reason I bought the thing. I saw the back of the ticket, saw the camel racing, and it was like really very inexpensive, but it was. I'm bringing it. I probably shouldn't, but I got tired of looking at it after a while.
We have a request for your University of Michigan tickets.
Yeah, somebody asked me that. I got an email. I don't have a lot of Michigan stuff. I had the Brady debut college last year at the Nat and sold that. College stuff is just tough to pick up and have a passion for me anyway, unless it's something that's I like UCLA stuff because I'm from the West Coast originally, but I don't chase that stuff too much.
Yeah, if you're trying to target a larger audience, it's probably colleges. Each university has its own smaller market. For tickets, so it takes the right buyer.
You got to have, and you're sitting on things forever in a day. And being that I used to play in the card world, I still got a ton of cards that I'm sitting on that I'll never sell because there's just so much of it out there. So.
Yeah. So Mark, if somebody was coming with the intention of maybe trying to trade with you, what types of tickets are you most looking to trade for?
Well, high-end stuff or high-end stuff.
Like really valuable stuff.
Like a Satchel Paige, first win ticket would be nice.
Yeah. If only we knew somebody with one of those.
We had one of those. I like Satchel, and I'm bringing one of his tickets, his last save ticket. I was going to bring a couple of win tickets, and I thought, no, they're the only ones I've got. And I think I got maybe 5 of his, or maybe 7 of his win tickets. You just don't see them at all on the market.
So you would be interested in, it sounds like, vintage baseball,
mm-hmm.
and probably I would imagine tickets that would be easier to sell that appeal to a wide audience.
For me, that would be, or something that would hit my personal collection, which would be maybe Brooklyn stuff.
Yeah.
But it would have to be something that I didn't have, or something that was in decent grade that I can turn and sell.
Yeah.
And preferably, if you're trading for something that I had that was graded, I'd like to trade for something that was graded.
Right. You prefer high grade.
Yeah. Well, a good decent. It doesn't have to be a 10. It could be a 4 or a 3 if it's something that has value to it.
Yeah.
Demand.
What do you think the sweet spot is for what you sell dollar amount wise?
Definition of sweet spot.
What would you sell the most of? $100 to $200 cards, sub $50 cards, 500 plus.
Yeah, it's probably $100 range in the raw stuff to $50 to $100 in the raw stuff, and the graded might be 1 to 5 maybe in that range, and every once in a while $1,000 ticket or $1,500 ticket. Sometimes a $5,000 ticket, depends upon what they're looking at and what the ticket gods let happen.
The ticket gods, they're always in control.
So Mark, last year you had that Babe Ruth home run ticket. I think it was the 11th home run of the first season where he won. You still, I was just going to ask if you still had that.
This ticket.
Oh,
once we came back from the National, it never saw the daylight until about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's it's his 20th career home run. It was the 11th home run of 1918. It was the last home run he hit in 1918.
Which was the first year that he led the league in home runs, correct?
It was I got a note on here. It was June 30th. And at that time, I think yellow fever or whatever the flu bug that was going around.
Oh yeah, Spanish flu.
Spanish flu. He caught it.
Mm.
Better. I guess he caught it again as the season ended. But yeah, he hit 11 on May 30th, and that was the last one he hit for the year. But that's the earliest known home run ticket that I know of that's been ever graded by PSA. It's a full. It's a military ticket, so the people, for the military folks came in, they got the ticket, got their seats.
Yeah.
It's a sweet ticket. I'm in no rush to sell it, but I will.
What's the price tag on that?
I told myself I wasn't going to talk price tags.
You got to go to the National.
Yeah, you got to get there. You want to know, you got to be at the National.
What I don't want to have happen is I get emails tomorrow morning, people trying to buy it right now.
Yeah.
So I just assume have it there. If you go to the National, you get to see it, and go from there. All right. I got another bringing that's never been seen before, at least that I've never brought before. This is
Willie Mays' 1,000th hit full.
Full.
Was that 6 or 8?
It's an 8.
Wow.
That's a really nice looking ticket too.
And very nice looking ticket. And a little note on this bad boy here. A pitcher. I mean, the Giants got clobbered in this game. The pitcher for, I think it was St. Louis Braves. Pitcher for the Braves. Carl Wiley. It was his first major league win. He wasn't around long, but still, it was another first win ticket. But yeah, this is something I've had for quite a while. Broke it out of the safety deposit box. Said, yeah, let's just put it out there for sale.
Sure.
Lost connection to it in a sense. Well, if you want to harass Mark, we haven't talked about your website, www.ticketsfromthepast.com.
Yes, that's me.
Tell us a little about that site.
Well, that's a site I put together probably 10 years ago, I guess now. And it's really got me into the hobby. I love the chase of the history and the tickets. It was fun putting it together and writing articles about each ticket. It does get me a little intake with other collectors. And I enjoy it. Every morning I get up and I look what's on the market the night before, and before I go pound the payment, and yeah, it's there.
And it's pretty well updated.
Yes, right now it's what's on there is pretty much updated. Yes. Now, should somebody buy something off this site while I'm at the National, I'll know and I'll pull it from the National. I'll have a lot of this stuff at the National.
Yeah. So you get a notice, obviously get an email, and you'll just
and
know right away.
I'll pull.
Is it mostly most of the stuff on the site you'll have, or would you say what percentage?
Yeah, 60 to 70% of the site will be of this stuff.
Wow.
Okay. And like I said, you won't see all my raw stuff's not on the site. I will have some cards. I do have a Jackie Robinson 56 Topps card. It's a SGC 7.5. It'll be in the case with the Jackie Robinson tickets. It's something I picked up at the National last year, and I probably will move that. And yeah,
outstanding.
So I'll show you one more.
Well, I have the. Oh, all right.
Go ahead.
Well, what else we got?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead and show what it was. What's that?
So this was one that back in '45, a guy that owned the Billy Goat Bar took his goat to the ball game, and the Cubs tossed him, and he cursed them, told them to never win another game. And so this is the full ticket for that game.
Nice.
It's a PSA 4, and it's a strong looking 4. It does have a real hairline crease right there. Also, right there, probably been at least a 6. I had to look at it real hard to figure out why it was a 4 when I saw the light. And it's only on the actually on the front and the back a little bit.
What's the pop report on something like that, especially being a full?
I think there are like maybe 12 of them out there.
Okay.
Of the 4, there may be like 4 or 5 higher than that one. There may be like 3 or 4 4s, 5 and a 6, I think is what I saw.
Yes, that's definitely a neat one.
It's
some good stuff. Yeah.
So that's some of what I'm bringing. I mean, I could walk you around and show you some of the high-end cases I'm putting together over there, but I won't because I got prices on the stickers at this point. Something I did run into though. Tickets are Lamar Jackson and Harris. No, who's the guy from Buffalo? Lamar and
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. They debuted in Baltimore, and that year, of course, the Ravens didn't sell tickets. Or they didn't do tickets, but I was able to con them into some. It rained real hard that day, and everything got soaked. But I found a dealer who had a few of the programs that were pretty much in mint shape for that game, dated. And I know they're not tickets, but they're about as close as you're going to get to finding some for that game.
Yeah.
About maybe 12 to 15 of them at the show. So if
Okay.
any big Lamar, Josh Allen fan, it might be something they want to come look and until they're gone, they'll be gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fairly inexpensive. I don't have those at a big price.
Yeah, those are signatures would look really good on those, right?
They would. And the fact that both guys played that day, and let me tell you, it rained hard all game. I'm a kind of guy that, I guess, you go to the tickets, you got your tickets in your holder, and you got your water bag. And so we get there and we get our programs, we put them in the bag. I put my tickets in the bag, and we watch the game, get totally soaked. We get home, and first thing I do is go to the bag to open it up to pull my stuff out. I got that much water in the bag. I'm just shaking my head. So the programs went right to the trash. They were gone. Tickets being in plastic, I slid them out, to dry them. And the backs of the tickets were clean, but the fronts had smeared. I sent them to PSA. They authenticated them. I sold one at the National last year. I kept one that's on my wall. And I've got one other one that's a 5 that's I'm probably going to sit on for a little while longer, hope that Lamar does something good this season. I got my fingers crossed for the Ravens this year.
Let's take a look at your location on site. And I got a couple other. I got my location.
Yes.
And JP's location.
So where are you?
I'm at the bottom. So let's take a look. So I know this site's not the easiest. It's freaking huge, right? So basically, the main entrance. Right here, you can kind of see it. They gave you this little map. Here's the main entrance. I guess they're going to have 2 main entrances. So if you walk out, you either go right or you go left. And you're, I believe, over here, 1263.
That's me. Yes.
So Mark will be at 1263. And then not far from you will be, JP will be 1349.
Yep.
And that's, pretty close. And as you can tell, there's 3,000 tables. Because I think with my business partner friends, and he's got some cards, but we're sharing. And I'm actually way down by the autograph area.
Yeah.
And he's one of the last guys to get a table. He was a newbie. And I'll be 3322. So it just shows you 30. It goes all the way to 3819. I don't know if there's 3,800 tables, but
a newbie, he's lucky he got a table.
So What's the process, Mark? If you're a newbie and you want to get a table, is that you
Well,
have to get in some waiting list?
there sort of is. I guess everybody gets their selection for their tables Friday and Saturday at the National for the next year until they sell out. If they don't sell out, then the newbies get to come in.
Mm,
They sequence it by how many nationals you've done. So the guys that have been there since 40 years, they get the first pick, and it goes
right.
on down. So
So,
I'll be 7, 8 coming up for this next national in Cleveland. So I'll get, probably about the same area I am now. I don't see myself moving up much. But they have limited to how many tables a dealer can take, so that might help some. I think I
so
can only get 2.
based on seniority, then you get
Yeah,
to select where you are going to be on the map.
yeah, exactly. So
That makes a lot of sense.
they drop.
That's why when you first walk in, it's always the old guys.
That's they,
All the
It's
vintage,
true. It's like
raw
the
vintage.
old guys who've just been, they have a vintage stuff that looks like it's been sitting there for, 70, 80 years.
same
Then
stuff.
the modern guys are in the back.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's there was one year, actually last year when we had it in AC. I had a table that was just one table next behind me, so I had 3 sides instead of 2.
Mhm.
Which I think next year in Cleveland, I'm going to be looking for that because, this year's national, I'm in a quad where there's 4 of us, so you only got 2 sides that you can put cases on, and then you got somebody behind you and somebody next to you. So if you can get, well, even if you're, excuse me, if you're out a little bit from everybody, they're
Yeah.
going to find you.
Yeah.
So better to have three sides than 2.
They're making
Yeah.
me feel better about my spot.
Yeah.
33-22.
I'd feel better about that spot.
Yeah. I think with tickets, the ticket collectors going, they'll find you.
That,
If you have tickets, they're going to find you.
And I
Absolutely.
didn't think about that until after I picked this table. I thought, I got home and of course we had COVID and the whole bit, but I started looking at where I was. I thought, oh, I've only got 2 sides, so it's yeah.
Do you have a 2-drink minimum at your booth, Mark? I'll say, what do you usually do at nights?
Well,
You have a lot of nights available, Tuesday to Sunday, basically.
well, you work all day on your feet. You get back to the hotel, you find some food, and then really ready to watch a little TV and go to bed and wake up the next morning and do it again.
Yeah.
Because you're up by 7:30, you got to be usually there by 8:15. Now, usually, if like Chicago, last time we were there, we picked one night. We went out and roamed the town a little bit, I guess. And this year, I guess we're going to roam the town Friday night at some beer festival.
Speaking of the devil, I have it ready for anybody who hasn't seen. I know we posted it a bit. So Friday night, 7 p.m., a ticket collectors meetup at Revolution Brewery off North Kedzie Avenue in Chicago. It's about a 15-20 minute car ride. You can actually jump on the train to get down there.
Probably taking
it's the brewery and tap room.
Yep.
So all you people who like tickets, be there.
I'll be there.
Yeah, good. I can tell you just from talking to people, there's going to be some real heavy hitters there, big ticket collectors. It's going to be fun. We'll have a Hall of Fame lineup of collectors.
The Mount Rushmore,
and that includes you, Mark.
Well, I don't know about Mount Rushmore, but
well,
little.
I mean, yeah, if we got together, the Hall of Fame, the first induction of the Hall of Fame at Cooperstown, they have that famous photo of all you'd be on that.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
If you've been selling for 7 years, you're an OG.
Yeah.
Well, it's just been it's a fun hobby. I mean, you get hooked by sports memorabilia, and that's what it is. And I started with baseball cards and worked into tickets, and that's.
Yeah, with the stories that tickets have and the nostalgia, it kind of hits all the marks on collecting, I think.
So Sean, how's your Brooklyn ticket collection going. I mean,
It's coming along. It's coming along. I fear that I've affected the market though in the auction world. So I'm
You want to talk about your most recent experience?
with the auction world. Sure.
Yeah.
No, I yesterday, well, as everyone knows, the All-Star game was in Seattle this past weekend. And what Hunt Auctions does is they do a live auction every year at the All-Star game, and you can actually sit in on it. They also do one at the Super Bowl every year, and it's live. And so you can get a paddle and sit on the floor and actually bid on the auctions as the lots come up. And I did this yesterday at this auction and bid on a number of things and got the experience bidding against people who are on the floor, but also on the phone and or bidding online on Invaluable. And it was quite a rush. It's definitely a different experience than sitting at home and bidding on your computer. Than
Do
when
you
you're
feel
live.
like you bid more in person or at home?
No question about it, I bid more.
Really?
I thought that I would be disciplined, and not, but man, you get into the just the moment when you're in front of the auction people who are talking about each item. It's, I sat there for a while. It goes pretty slow, so you can get up and leave and go do other stuff and then come back. And a lot of the items, even that I had no intention of bidding on, I thought, well, maybe I should take a crack. But they also have everything on display, the actual stuff. So every item that they have in the auction is right there that you can go look at in person. And so it's a really cool experience if you ever get a chance. I know the All-Star game next year is in Arlington, so that's something you could probably
Oh, that's
go
right.
do,
Yeah.
Mike, next year.
Let's go check that out.
Yeah, because Hunt does this every
Did
year.
you
and it's-
any
What's that?
buyer's remorse? Was there any buyer's remorse?
I don't really want to go over what I won. I did win a few. I'll go over it once I get them in hand. I like to actually have the stuff first, but yeah, I definitely overpaid. I wouldn't say buyer's remorse, but definitely had to overpay. If that
Did you
were they Brooklyn tickets?
just I had to overpay, Mark. That's all I'll say.
did you talk to anybody that you met there, like, and you had a common interest and kind of BS with them that was bidding
Yeah.
against you or anything like that?
Most of the people that were there were just kind of watching. They weren't really bidding. There was a handful of people who were actually bidding actively, but most of the bidding was coming on the phone or on the internet. So the other people, there was nobody there who were bidding on what I was bidding on. I was going against people on the phone, and that was interesting. I didn't realize that people still call in and bid. But
Yeah, I always find that, I think we've both always found it weird that they still do like the online live auction with all the technology these days.
The
And now
psychology
people
of it, after being there in person, I kind of understand why they do it live like that, because it just makes you overpay. So maybe it's a psychological thing, and they just do better with that. I mean, just looking at the lots that finished, and this was a live auction that started at 11 a.m. on the West Coast, and it's a weekday where people are working, so
Right.
you wouldn't think that there would be a lot of action, but there was. If you look at where a lot of things finished, there were some pretty aggressive prices on a lot of those items, and there were some good deals, I thought, but by and large, I think it was pretty normal as far as what the prices ended up at.
Are we talking about tickets?
Tickets and just everything, all of the stuff they had, just kind of in general. I didn't, just glancing through the entire auction, I didn't see anything that really jumped out at me like, wow, that's a really good deal.
Sometimes I find the smaller auctions are the ones where you can get the really good deals.
Yeah. The less known ones. Yeah. But I don't know. It was a great experience, Mike. Next year you got to do it. It's fun. You sign up. I still have my paddle.
There's a 2079.
2079. So
Broke the bank.
you can do some research on me, maybe, and figure out what I got.
I'll find something.
Yeah. So, but fun experience. I did win a couple of auctions, and I'll talk about those once I get the stuff. But yeah, great. Some really good tickets in that auction.
Yeah, it was a nice little auction.
Yeah. Did either of you bid on anything?
I did not.
No, not. But I kind of kept an eye on it.
Yeah, I want to compete against you, so I figured we'd let you have it.
You buy them up.
You don't want to upset me.
Gotta get that beer, because I'm that Friday.
So yeah, Jackie's stuff is still strong, and the 47 and the Dodger. You guys are both big. I wouldn't say big, but Mark, you said you collect a lot of Brooklyn Dodgers.
I do. You don't find much 47s out there. It's just you got to really look to find them. Anything in the 47, 48s, and 49s are tough.
Yeah, I picked up a 47 program. I don't know if you know much about those, and it was, I guess they just did it by team, their opponent. I picked it up at the Dallas show for a couple hundred, and it was against the first, I guess his first game was against the Boston Braves. Is that right? Do you guys know who he debuted against? But yeah, but it doesn't tell you if it's the opener, because it could have been any of the games, and then it could have been a game later in the year. But I was like, geez, I thought that was a heck of a deal.
So
random things.
It wasn't marked at all.
It doesn't let you know like this was opening day. It's just basically they would print them for the whole series and then maybe keep them for a future series. I'm not sure exactly how. I'm not the program expert, but
somewhere in the program it'll tell you, some advertisement will talk about something that kind of keys you into a month anywhere, but when it was, or future games. And so it doesn't have any games in May, then the program had to be in June per se, or
right. Shoot, I'm let's go check that out. I'm assuming, especially back in the day, they probably did them for the series, not individual games.
Programs are cheap. Some of these Brooklyn programs you can get at a decent price. I mean, I bought a few in my time.
Yeah. Programs are definitely underappreciated. I agree, especially those.
Yeah, and P Daddy also said, looking for rosters change throughout the season and player trades or call ups. So that definitely would make a lot of sense. A whole new world.
Yeah. Cool. Mark, do you have anything else that you want to show that you're going to have at the National that you want to get people excited about?
Well, not that I have right in front of me. Pretty much, like World Series stuff. I'll have some no-hit stuff. Be some football stuff. I'll have a few other Gaylord Perry first win ticket. To Roethlisberger first debut ticket, I guess. Things I can think off the top of my head. It's been a chaotic couple of weeks, and
got to get ready.
Yeah, I find for this show in Chicago, I'm least ready than I've been for the last couple of nationals. Just a lot of things going on, but I'll be there. I'll be there. I'm getting close now. Usually this time of the year, I'm ready. I'm not quite.
When you're there, do you get a chance to walk around and check out other booths?
Sometimes early in the morning, if you get there enough, you get things set up. I can tell Linda, to wash things out with cell phones. If something calls, could give me a shout. And I get a chance to walk around my area. I can't go far per se.
Yeah.
Justin asked about Ty Cobb. You got that Shoeless Joe. Do you have any Ty Cobb stuff?
Not for sale.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, Justin's about to blow up your website or your phone.
Yeah.
Not for sale. I mean, some of that stuff, especially real tickets, are tough to find. I got a Walter Johnson ticket. I think it was his 60th win of his career. It's just, actual day tickets are tough for that area.
Yeah.
You can actually put a date on, and say it's not a pass. It's not, all year pass. It's an actual game ticket. Those are tough. and hard to put a price on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say sometimes might have to auction something that's never
Yeah.
been really seen before.
And then you don't know when you auction it if you're really getting a true value, because nobody really knows what to bid on unless you, like Sean, like you said, you get 2 or 3 guys that with the dollars that really want it. Elsewise,
Yeah. I feel like that happened to me yesterday at the hunt auction.
Well, the tables will be, you will be what, 1263? Is that Mark, right? Mark?
Well, very correct.
Then the other one is the 1349. Then myself will be 3322.
And we'll see everybody on Friday night at the beer bash.
Yeah. Yeah. And another note on that, if you're a member on Boogers, it would be great if you plan on going to join the event, I guess, and click that you're going to go, because we kind of need a general idea of head count. And last time I looked, I think there was 20 that were going.
How big is
What's that?
How big is it? The place?
Oh, it's big. It can handle 100 people. It's not that's not an issue, but they kind of want to have an idea of what to expect. So,
Do they serve margaritas?
I might have a margarita
tells me they
flavored
don't serve
beer.
margaritas. You might have to go that route on Thursday night or Saturday night. Yeah, but it'll be a great time. I'm really looking forward to it. I think that if you're going to be at the National and you're a ticket collector, or even if you're just interested in tickets, it could be a really fun time to network, meet other ticket collectors, and
The National is always fun. It's just everything is there. It takes you a couple of days to walk around it.
Yeah, definitely get some comfortable shoes.
Yeah,
plan on 2 days if you can, and cash is great. If not, you better have your Venmo ready. But internet service is notoriously bad at these shows, so yeah, definitely come with cash if you plan on buying something.
Yeah, how do you prefer transactions to be?
well, cash is always nice.
Yeah, obviously, other than cash, what's your if it's a big ticket item, how do you?
Venmo, we'll do PayPal. I think I've got access to other things. The wife's in charge of all that credit card stuff.
Yeah.
It's the only issue when you do, a credit card or PayPal is there's fees involved. So when you buy something big, you're going to have to figure, I'm going to tack on a little bit for the fees.
Yeah.
And if you pay cash, I can tack a little less off,
Yeah. Cash is king.
Cash is king. And, it's good. We'll take anything, firstborn.
A margarita.
Yeah, margarita.
Yeah. Are you noticing more exclusive ticket collectors over the years as the years go on that come to your booth
I'm meeting more. Yes. It's tough, because the exclusive people, they've got a lot of what they want. So you've got to have something that's really different,
Yeah.
It's more of a one-on-one type thing. Elsewise, they look, they smile, they're pleasant, but they're not going to.
They're friendly. Oh yeah, ticket collectors are the best. Very friendly people. Yeah, I think maybe the rise of the set collecting, like the certain years, the Jordan rookie years or the Jackie Robinson rookie year tickets. I think that might be, something as the hobby kind of evolves, that people become more interested in, and that are more affordable, attainable tickets that are appealing to people, to ticket collectors specifically. So that seems to be.
I think part of the history of just certain events wake people up. They say, "Oh, I need a Morgana ticket," or "I need, a ride, something of that accord."
Yeah, you see that happen just suddenly, randomly. A new niche becomes popular, and everybody's looking for that.
Yeah.
Do you do any shows in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area?
Used to do the Chantilly show a couple times a year, but I haven't done it in probably 4 or 5 years. I know since COVID. Just right now, my life is is just busy enough that the national is all I do. So nobody's seen what I'm bringing up until the national. So
Exciting.
that's
And
kind
you-
of exciting, I guess, and it's exciting for me because it gets me out there with the big boys and get to bang heads with them. And,
Yeah.
hopefully
Looking forward to it.
we get there, the car doesn't break down.
set up shot, no COVID, and make that money.
Well, yeah. One thing when for us anyway, we catch COVID in AC, it was 3 hours home. You catch something in Chicago, it's a different story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we expect to stay healthy. We've been doing well, keeping all our shots up, and
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, it should be great. Did anybody have any other questions, or Sean or Mark? Did you guys have anything else you wanted to share?
I think I'm set.
I
Anything
want
from you,
to
Mark?
thank you guys for letting me come back on, and looking forward to seeing everybody at the national.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Well,
sure.
thanks for
Check
joining
out
us.
Mark's website, tickets from the past. Come to the show. Check out the booths. There are the numbers. And Friday night, we have the info. Revolution Brewery. I hear it's one of the better ones in Chicago. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I'm thinking probably 20 to 30-ish people will be there. It's kind of the guesstimate.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I would guess around 30.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really good turnout.
And some big ticket collectors. So even if you're just wanting to go just chat with ticket collectors just to get, pick their brain, that's the place to do it.
Although I'm not sure how much of us ticket collectors have in brains, but we guess
That's true. That's true, Mark.
Some more than others, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Look, guys, I appreciate it very much. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at the national, and maybe we can talk afterwards.
Yep.
All right.
Likewise.
Be at the national. We will see you there.
You guys take care.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye, Mark.